Every single movie has a couple of secrets to draw us in. There are 4 things exactly that every movie has, and I put them on the screen here. That has a great story. You have to have acting, you have to have a script, and you have to have a soundtrack. And I love movies because they draw me in. And I want to share how movies and the secrets to great filmmaking can make us great at what we do in our jobs. So with that being said, I want to focus first on this idea of story. Stories are powerful. They're so powerful. In fact, they are so powerful that we make decisions just because of a good story. There was a couple of people who are journalists, and they wanted to understand just how powerful stories really are. Their names are Joshua Glenn and Robert Walker, and they did something that was really fascinating. They wanted to know just how powerful are stories in influencing us. So what they did is they went out and they bought 200 thrift store items. They bought all of these items for an average of about $1.25. This was called the significant object study. Then what they did is they hired 200 authors, one for each item, to write a custom story just for that item. And then they put it on eBay. They were very curious to see, would the items go for the same amount? Would it increase? Would it decrease? Did it even have an influence at all? Here's what they found. After buying the 200 items, which was on average $1.25 per item, after they sold them, for example, like this piece, which they got for 50 cents, after they put a story to it and sold it, this piece right here, which is just a little small golden bunny candle, ended up selling for $112.50. The only thing that changed was an author wrote a story to capture the buyer into understanding what's behind, what's the history of this object, what has happened to it. All in all, in this project, of those 200 items, they ended up selling everything in it for close to $8,000 total, averaging $40 per item, and the only difference was there was a story. Isn't that fascinating? It's wild. And when I think about stories and how it relates to us, at the end of the day, when you tell a story, really what you're doing is you're casting a vision and you're inviting your audience into something bigger. We all have an innate need inside of us to just be a part of something bigger than just ourselves. We want to feel it. And stories connect our heads to our hearts. And then they also lead us to act. It's fascinating, isn't it? So when I think about this and how this relates to us in our everyday lives, I ask myself the question, what story are we telling as we do it? What's our story? Where do we fit in? What are we trying to do? Are we just, having an item, putting it up for sale or letting go? Or are we helping tell a bigger picture story with how we live, with how we act, with how we serve the person next to us? You see, we need to pay attention to not just the stories and the movies we watch, but the stories we live out every single day. Because this, just like the big screen, is powerful. So with all that, the takeaway here is you're writing your story every single day. Whether it be for your company, for your team, or even for your own personal family. My question is, are you telling the story that you want? Or are you letting other people write your story? Go live your stories and be intentional and take the pen of authorship into your work and into your life and write a powerful story. Thank you very much.